Hello and welcome to my video lecture on using buttons, submit buttons on an HTML form. Here we already have a form that's already been created. Let's give ourselves a little bit more room down here. So here we have our form. We have some header information. We have the body of our HTML containing a form. If we view it, this is what it looks like. So for now we have a submit button. Let's put another break in down here so that appears on its own line. We have a bunch of different button types that we can use. And as you might notice, I also have an images folder created. So I have a submit and I have an add to cart JPEG in these files, in that folder, that I'm going to use with some of these buttons. If I open up my buttons HTML, this is where I've saved my my template for these. So here I have an input type as button. Up until now, we've used the input type submit that you've been able to see. So let's grab that. So this is an input, a button input. And if I add another break here, paste that in, here's my input, tab that over to keep that in line with all of the rest of my code. So here's my submit button. This is going to be a button. The name of it's message. The value is alert me. And then on click, it's going to return an alert. And we'll see what that looks like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save that. I don't need, I can just go up here and I can just refresh this. So now you can see my submit button is going to be here. My submit button would send me to my PHP file. In this case, I just want to show you what the alert does. So this is what the alert does, and you can put any kind of a message in here that you wanted associated with error messages, anything like that. You might create a check my data button that gets called. So if you click OK, it just returns you to here. That's the second kind of button. We've already done the submit button, which would send our data to the display PHP file using the post array. We have our display PHP file here. It's just that at this point I'm not doing much else. If I look at my buttons, I also have a reset button that I can use. And what I'll do is I'll take that and I'll add another break. And then I'll paste that in, tab that over, as I did with the previous one. So now I've got a reset button, and what a reset button will do is a reset button will reset all the values on my form. So if I save that, and I go to my HTML form, I just want to refresh and make sure it's got my reset button on it. And then if I type in my name and my email address, if there is a junk.junk.com, if I click reset, it's just going to clear those out for me. So that's what a reset button does. And then what we can do is on some of our buttons, we can have images on our buttons. So as you can see, I'm going to copy that out. I'm going to put that into my project. I'm going to add another break so that this looks nice. Tab that in. So as you can see, this is an input element. The type is an image. The source is a reference to our images folder and the submit JPG file. The alternate is submit, so if it can't find the submit JPG, it will say submit. And there's the width and the height. So if I save all that, go back to my web browser, I refresh that. Now I've got my submit button, and that actually submits. And this is my display PHP file that's being displayed, but I didn't put anything in any of my inputs, so my input text boxes or my input email, so nothing gets displayed. Now if I go back and I look at my last example is using another submit type button. It just looks a little different. The code is a little different. Again, I'm going to put in my break, paste that in, I'm going to tab my code back in. So now instead of this being an input, this is actually a button, and the button element is a type submit, so it's going to do the same thing as a submit input button. Here I'm embedding in between the start and end tags of the button a reference to the image. We use the source attribute of an image element to have it referenced. So again, it's going to reference the images add to cart PNG file. It's going to set the width and the height. Again, the alternate is there in case for whatever reason it can't find this add to cart JPEG file. And then it's going to say in the middle of it, add to cart. So we're going to save that. And then we're going to go to our web browser. We're going to refresh that, and there you can see there's my image, and then the text that's in there is add to cart. So we get both. And that is the end of my video lecture on the various buttons that you can use on your data entry forms in your HTML.